Hello, my name is Avantika Jindal, and this video is an AI case study analysis for the Bachelor's of Psychological Sciences, which is my discipline. In this presentation, I analyze how Gen AI tool was used to support a discipline-specific task in psychology. I will explain the task I selected, how I used the AI tool, and critically evaluate the outputs by discussing their strengths, limitations, and ethical implications. This case study aims to reflect on how AI can be used responsibly within the psychological science context rather than replacing human expertise. Psychological science is concerned with the systematic study of human behavior, cognition, and emotional processes. The discipline places a strong emphasis on research methods, evidence based reasoning, and ethical responsibility. Psychology students are expected to develop skills such as critical thinking, hypothesis generation, research ideas, and evaluation of scientific evidence. With the increasing use of AI tools in academic settings, it is important to examine how exactly do these technologies support learning while still maintaining scientific integrity and ethical standards. For this case study, I used a generative AI tool called ChatGPT to assist with a psychology-specific academic task. The task involved developing and refining a research hypothesis and outlining a basic study design. This task was selected because forming clear research questions and hypotheses is a foundational skill in psychological research and can be a bit challenging for students, particularly during the early stages of study. Now, the research topic that was chosen was the relationship between social media use and anxiety in emerging adults. This topic is highly relevant in contemporary psychological research due to the widespread use of social media by young adults and the ongoing concerns about mental health outcomes. Using this topic allowed me to explore whether AI could actually assist in structuring a psychological research idea while still requiring human judgment to evaluate accuracy and relevance. To use the AI tool, I provided structured prompts that clearly define the population, psychological constructs, and the research focus. I asked AI to refine a broad research idea into a testable hypothesis, identify independent and dependent variables, and suggest an appropriate research design. This process involved iterative prompting, where I refined the prompts based on the quality of responses I received from the AI. Importantly, all AI generated outputs were critically reviewed and edited using psychological knowledge to ensure methodological and conceptual accuracy. The AI helped generate a clear hypothesis suggesting that higher levels of social media use is indeed associated with increased anxiety among emerging adults. It also suggested a correlational research design and identified relevant variables. While these outputs were logically structured and appropriate at an undergraduate level, they did require further human refinement to ensure that they accurately reflect psychological theory as well as research practice. A key strength of using generative AI in this task was efficiency and structural support. The AI was able to rapidly generate a coherent research hypothesis and suggest a logical study framework which reduced the cognitive load involved in early stage planning. This aligns with research by Lunkin et al. In 2016, who suggests that AI can act as a form of cognitive scaffolding by supporting learners during complex reasoning tasks, particularly in academic contexts. However, significant limitations were also evident. The AI often presented psychological relationships in an oversimplified manner and did not adequately consider confounding variables, such as pre existing mental health conditions or individual differences. This reflects concerns raised by Bender et al. In 2021, who argued that language models do not possess genuine understanding but instead generate texts based on statistical patterns. From a psychological sciences perspective, this limitation is critical. Research validity depends on theoretical grounding, methodological rigor, and ethical awareness, none of which can be reliably ensured by AI alone. As a result, While AI may support idea generation and clarity, it cannot replace the critical reasoning, judgment, and ethical responsibility required of psychology students and researchers. Human oversight is therefore essential when integrating AI into psychological research processes. Ethical considerations are particularly important when using AI within a psychological science context. One concern is the risk of biased or inaccurate outputs, as AI tools generate responses based on existing data patterns rather than ethical reasoning or clinical understanding. This is especially relevant in psychology, where research findings may influence understandings of mental health and human behavior. As highlighted by Gunning and AHA in 2019, the use of explainable and transparent AI is essential in scientific disciplines to avoid both misuse and misinterpretation of information. In addition, academic integrity must be maintained. AI generated content should not be treated as original scholarly work, but rather as a learning aid that requires critical evaluation and proper acknowledgement. In conclusion to this case study analysis, the new case study demonstrates that Gen AI can effectively support early research planning in psychology by improving efficiency and structure. However, its use must remain supplementary to human judgment, ethical responsibility, and psychological expertise. Developing informed and critical AI use is therefore essential for psychology students and future professionals.